All right, guys, we gotta talk. It's 12:30 right now, and I feel the need to talk about this because this is serious. This is very serious. It's only week one, and things are already taking a negative turn for the Ravens. It seems like it's happening again. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it seems like it's happening again. Guys, I cannot go through another season like the previous two seasons we've had. I cannot deal with another season of watching this Ravens squad decay because injuries start to pile up. Every week, somebody's suffering a major injury. I cannot deal with that. But it feels like we're heading towards that direction, and I'm very scared for our players. It just seems like there's nothing we can do to stop this. It's really serious. So coming into the season, we already knew we were down one man, and he was not going to play week one against the Texans. In fact, he's not going to play probably for the next couple of games. He's out for maybe the next month, maybe month and a half. That's Marlon Humphrey. He was dealing with a foot issue throughout training camp, and he eventually got foot surgery that ultimately took him out for the first part of the season. So we knew coming into the game yesterday that Marlon Humphrey was not going to be there. That's already one key player missing before the season even starts. But everyone else was relatively healthy. Everyone except another vital piece in Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been dealing with a quad injury that's been bothering him the last couple weeks. It's kept him out of practice because of that. And because this quad injury is bothering him, the Ravens decided to play it safe and not play him in this game against the Texans. Now, we don't know how this quad injury is going to develop. I don't know if it's going to get better for him. We'll just have to wait and see. But right now, that's another vital player that's missing games because of an injury. So two vital players already down. But things get so much worse. So we played the game yesterday at the bank, week one, home opener against the Texans. Everything's going well for the most part. Baltimore, the offense isn't exactly meshing or gelling right now. They're trying to put up points. They're figuring things out. But, it is what it is. First half was iffy. Second half, they start getting things going. And as they start getting things going and putting up points and the defense are making stops, all of a sudden, things started turning for the worse. Marcus Williams gets knocked out of the game. We were originally told it was a shoulder injury. Now we're being told that the Ravens fear he has suffered a torn pec. If this is a torn pec, depending on the severity of that torn pec, Marcus Williams could be lost for the entire season. Now again, if it's not severe, he'll miss time, but he won't be out for the season. TJ Watt dealt with the same type of situation last year where he tore his pec in week one. He didn't miss the whole season because it wasn't that serious. He didn't need surgery. If Marcus Williams needs surgery, his season is done. So that's one of your key pieces on the defense gone after week one. Then you got to look at Ronnie Stanley, one of your most vital pieces on the offense. Your left tackle, your Pro Bowl left tackle, your All-Pro left tackle before he got injured. The guy that's been dealing with a terrible ankle injury that nearly ended his career. For 2 years, he dealt with that. He comes back, finally being healthy. They spent the entirety of training camp being as precautious with him as possible because we don't want him to get hurt. We do all of that just for him to get injured during the game. Now, again, I don't know what type of injury he's dealing with. I don't know if it's major or not. We heard that him, Linderbaum, and Marcus Williams were all going to get MRIs. So we'll just have to wait and see in regards to that. But he did suffer an injury. And if it's severe, which again, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case, but if it's severe, you're losing another vital piece. The other name I just named, Tyler Linderbaum. That is our center for the future. He is our starting center. He suffered a leg injury. We saw a player landed on this man's leg. So he's dealing with a leg injury. I don't know how severe the leg injury is, but we will get updates throughout this week. If he's compromised and misses time, we're in serious trouble because who else is going to snap the ball? We saw what happened in 2020 when you don't have a center that can properly snap the ball. Lamar got knocked out of that playoff game against the Bills because the center, first the offensive line was not protecting him well, but the center couldn't properly snap a football. He snapped it over Lamar's head. Lamar had to chase it down. He started taking off, trying to make a play, get the ball in his hands, and boom, he gets smacked. He's in the end zone, damn near unconscious. He has a concussion, he's out for the rest of the game. That's what happens when you don't have a center. We saw this happen in 2020. If Linderbaum is severely hurt, we're heading towards that direction too. And with all this being said, I haven't even spoken of the worst one yet. J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins. I feel so bad for this man. He does not deserve this, man. This is just a tragedy, man. It's so unfortunate for him to go through this, knowing what he had to battle to get back here. This is a guy that tore his ACL in a preseason game in 2021 against the Washington Commanders. He spent 2 years trying to recover from that injury. 2 whole years. He worked hard to not only recover from that injury, but to, get back into form. And the thing about it is he played last year. He wasn't 100%. He had to go do cleanups because, again, his knee wasn't back to where it needed to be. And even though he did cleanup and came back and still played, he still wasn't where he needed to be. So he spent all this time healing and going through rehab and getting himself strong and getting him back into the rare form he needs to be. He missed out on pretty much all of training camp just to get himself ready. Spent the last couple weeks getting himself ready for the pace to be able to play alongside this offense. The man worked so hard. 2 years of hard work just for him to get back on the field. All of that gone. Because he goes from suffering a torn ACL in 2021 to suffering a torn Achilles in 2023. His season is done. I haven't seen a player in sports suffer back-to-back major injuries like that since Klay Thompson did. We saw Klay Thompson tear his ACL in the NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors. He spends a whole year plus getting himself prepared and recovering just for him to suffer a torn Achilles. Now, Klay was able to come back from that, but he wasn't the same player that he was prior to those injuries. He hasn't been that same player. So I look at J.K. Dobbins, who, again, is playing a position that has a very short shelf life. A running back does not last long in this league. Even if he's healthy his entire career, a running back does not last long in this league. And obviously, they're not valued well when it comes to paying these backs because we're watching all these backs try to get these huge deals, and it's not happening. So here you have a player in J.K. Dobbins, who, by the way, is under his final year of contract with the Ravens. He was looking to get a contract extension at the end of this season, heading into the offseason. This was supposed to be his time to prove his worth to the Ravens. This was his moment. This was supposed to be his year. And all of that is ruined because of a torn ACL. How unlucky is that? How unfortunate is that? My heart goes out to him, man. I know he's going through it right now. He just spent 2 years getting himself back to where he needs to be just to suffer another major injury. And the worst part about it, me personally, the worst part about it that I fear is that this man, I don't know if he's going to have a roster spot when he comes back. Because I know he's going to go get the surgery. He's going to go through the rehab. He's going to recover. But a running back that has suffered 2 severe injuries in 3 years, a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, who's going to spend money on a contract to pay him? Maybe for the minimum, but he's not getting a big contract. And that's just unfortunate because this was his opportunity to showcase what he can do. We've seen how J.K. Dobbins looks when he's healthy. We've seen him perform on the field and be very productive when he's healthy. All of that is gone because of a torn Achilles. Oh, man. Guys, I cannot do this for another season. I cannot. I actually fear for our players right now because we've got multiple players that have already suffered injuries and are coming back from that. Odell literally just spent over a year working to get back to football. I'm afraid for him. Rashad Bateman, we know he missed the last year due to injury. I'm afraid for him. Same for Devin Duvernay. Same for Gus Edwards. Same for Justice Hill. Same for Lamar Jackson. Same for Ronnie Stanley. I'm afraid for everybody right now. I'm really afraid. Because it feels like this, it's just bound to happen. And I'm not wishing it, obviously, knock on wood, prayers that doesn't happen. But when you're watching these players go down like that, when it's been happening consistently for years, the fear comes into your mind. Man, this is happening again. This is happening again. That fear comes in, and I'm watching that happen right now. We won the game against the Texans, and I don't feel happy in the slightest right now because we may have lost multiple key players in week 1. Think about that. Your team wins a football game, and you're not happy because of the circumstances surrounding that win. Marcus Williams missed 5 games in 5 seasons with the New Orleans Saints. He comes to Baltimore, and right off the bat, he suffers 2 major injuries that cost him a lot of games. He missed 7 games last year due to his injury, and depending on the severity of this, he's going to miss a chunk of games this year too. The man was not viewed as injury prone until he came to Baltimore. What is going on here? Rashad Bateman never suffered a major injury in college, but he comes here and he's suffering injury after injury. What is happening here? Lamar himself never suffered a major injury during his time in Louisville. Yet in each of the last 2 years, he's dealt with an injury that's kicked him out from the rest of the season. Oh my God, I'm really concerned, guys, because it feels like there's nothing we can do. And it's not like you can blame this on anybody. I mean, we got rid of our strength and conditioning coach. We've made changes to how we practice. We've made changes to how we approach injuries so we can protect players from this. If they're nicked up in the slightest, they're not practicing. They're not going out there to play. They're not going to put these players out there if they're compromised. We work to get this whole situation fixed, yet the issue still happens. And I get it. It's football. It's sports. It's the worst aspect of football, and you cannot stop it. Injuries are a part of the game. But I mean, damn, when you're doing everything possible to get these players in a position to be as safe and as healthy as possible, and all of a sudden, week 1 of the season, multiple players suffer injuries in a game that you were leading, by the way, by double digits, it's crazy to see. And it just makes you think that there's nothing the Ravens can do to stop this. I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm very concerned. We'll probably be talking about it throughout the week as we get more information. Hopefully the situation regarding Stanley and Linderbaum isn't serious. And when it comes to Marcus Williams, hopefully it's similar to what TJ Watt was dealing with last year. So Marcus Williams would need surgery. It's not that severe. He'll miss a couple weeks, but he will be back. If it's a season-ending injury, that's just even worse. Because you're going to lose one of the best safeties in the game in week 1, just like that. I don't know what else to say, guys. I just haven't stopped. I've been thinking about this the last several hours today. Like, the win happened, I did my video and said all my stuff, but, like, legitimately, I can't stop thinking about what might happen. If this is happening in week 1, what are we looking... Well, like, what's ahead? If this is happening in week 1, what is approaching for this team? Week 1, and you're already dealing with major injuries. You've already lost a vital piece in J.K. Dobbins. You might be losing another vital piece in Marcus Williams, and you don't know the status of Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum. Mark Andrews still dealing with his quad situation, and Marlon Humphrey's not going to be back for a while now. So yes, there's serious concerns here, man. There's serious concerns here. I got nothing else left to say. We'll see what happens as the week goes on, but I am really worried about this team right now. I just don't know what's happening. It just feels like we're cursed, and I don't know what we can do to stop this injury bug from continuing to plague Ravens seasons. Oh my God, this is just terrible. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. This has been a tough day. You know, we got the win against the Texans, but damn, at what cost? You're losing so many players. It's not worth it. By the time you get down to the end of the season, we're going to be completely cooked, just like last year. It's not fun, man. I really can't deal with another year of this, and I hope that's not the direction we're heading. But based on the signs we're seeing right now, it's absolutely going to be the direction we're heading to. Man, I can't believe this, man. But yeah, anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.